Hey guys, welcome back. Hope you're doing well. And in today's video, I'm going to be in Luminar Neo talking about the Curves tool. I did a recent video about Luminar Neo, which is right there. And in that video, I made mention of talking about the Curves tool. And there were quite a few of you that said, yeah, Jim, please talk about the Curves tool. So I'm talking about the Curves tool. This will be kind of a getting started with curves video as opposed to a super deep dive. I kind of want to go over some key concepts around the tool, and then I can come back and do some more in-depth stuff later. But very powerful, very useful tool. Let's get into it. I've got a photo here taken in Iceland on the Luminar photo camp about 2 years ago. Sunrise on top of a glacier. It was fantastic. It was amazing. Anyway, I've got this raw file here in Neo. I'm in develop, and if I click on curves, you can see I've got this little graph and histogram and all that here. So that's a thing to know. This is a histogram, which represents, of course, kind of the tonal values in the image. There's a few different things to be aware of with curves. It is probably, I'd say arguably, the most powerful tool in Neo and really any editor. It just gives you a lot of power and control over light and the distribution of light, which also means contrast, so highlights, midtones, shadows, but it also gives you a lot of control over color. And we're going to talk about both, and I'll give you some examples of what you can do. Now, there's a few sections to be aware of. There's 4 little dots here across the top. There's that histogram. There's this line in the middle, and then these sliders at the bottom. Let's just go through that. These 4 little dots represent different sections. They're kind of like tabs. This first tab, the gray dot, is represented by this gray line here, and this is really the tone curve. That's what some people call curves. They call it the tone curve, but the gray line and this little tab for the gray circle represents the tonal values in the image. So this is the highlights, the midtones, and the shadows. The red, you can see the line is now red. That represents the red and cyan spectrum in the photo. The green represents green and magenta, and then the blue represents blue and yellow. And I'll show you those in detail here in a minute. Also notice that the histogram may vary based on which one of these you're clicked on. Now, what you'll often hear people say is, oh, I just did a simple S-curve, increased contrast, it looks great. So here's what they're talking about. This line allows you to drop points on the line, and then you can move the line based on those points. And so a lot of people will drop a dot right there at that kind of intersection in that kind of tic-tac-toe grid, and then drop a second one down here. And what you're doing is if you lift this, you're kind of lifting some of the midtones kind of closer to the highlights, and this one kind of drops some of the darker areas, kind of the deeper midtones and kind of the lighter part of the shadows, and it creates a little bit more contrast in the photo. And that is called an S-curve. Now you can accentuate that to the extent that you want and do more and more with it if you want, but you don't have to, right? So you've got a lot of power and flexibility, but even doing something like that, I brighten the image up quite a bit, created some nice contrast, and you'll notice the shape of that curve is kind of an S shape, hence the term S-curve. So that's a very popular thing to do. But what I also want to do is show you these sliders on the bottom. There's 3 dots on this line, and you can move the dots. The center one you can move left and right. The left one you can only move to the right, and this one on the far right you can only move to the left. But anyway, this one on the bottom left here, that represents shadows. So as I drag that to the right, you'll see shadows are getting darker and darker. Also notice that the tone curve line is moving because this dot right there represents that shadows area. So you can double click them, by the way, to set them back. So these two basically kind of move in parallel when you're going like that. Now you can also take this and move it itself. You can also lift it and go that way, which is increasing shadows, which is decreasing contrast, makes the image flatter and kind of that vintage look. So whenever you see people that are doing faded or vintage kind of looks, they're often just lifting the shadows, many times with the tone curve. So powerful tool, lots of power and flexibility, lots of control over tones in an image. The middle section is, as I said, midtones. And so as I drag this to the right, you can see midtones are getting darker, and you can see the line here is kind of bowing downward, if you will. Whereas, again, double click resets it back home, if you will, to its default position. If I go left, the that tone curve line is now bowing kind of outward or upward, And basically I'm lifting midtones and other parts of the image, and that's giving me a nice brighter image, which is actually necessary in this image because it's kind of dark. And then over here on the right hand side, you've got highlights. So if I drag that to the left, I am creating brighter highlights. Now you can use these in combination. Maybe I want to lift those highlights, and by the way, did you notice that center line moves some as well? So I can move the highlights, kind of increase those. Hey, it's brightening my image, but maybe I want to do a little bit more and bump up the midtones as well. So you can use these in combination. What it really comes down to is you're massaging, managing, rearranging the light. However you want to think of it, you're basically adjusting the light to accomplish the look of the light that you want in the photo. So you're adjusting tonal values, shadows, midtones, highlights. Lots of power, lots of control. And maybe I could even come in here and say, I really want to darken those shadows a little bit. And that's not exactly an S-curve, but it's definitely a little bit more contrasty image. I got some nice dark areas, but I've really brightened the areas that were not bright enough. So there's my before, there's my after. The photo looks a lot better, and all I've done is a couple little squiggles, moving these sliders here. So again, lots of power, lots of control, and this gray circle here, this little tab, if you will, all about those tonal values. And also notice that the histogram has adjusted. That's what the histogram looked like before I made these adjustments, and now the histogram's moved over to the right, which, as you probably know on a histogram, the far left side is the dark or the shadows, and the far right side is the bright stuff or more of the highlights. You can see my histogram has shifted to the right because it now represents the distribution of light based on the moves in the tone curve. So again, before and after. Lots of power, lots of control, really, frankly, amazing power and control over the tonal values in an image. Now you can put, I think, up to 10 of these little dots here across this tone curve and adjust them as you see fit. So maybe I want to bump up some of the midtones and maybe a little bit of those as well, and some of that. And by the way, you can also kind of anchor some of these in place. So let me hit reset, by the way. If I just put something here and go like that, this whole line starts to bow outward. But if I want to do that and I want to kind of keep the line anchored without a whole lot of further adjustments, I can take this and then lift it like that, and you can see I'm really just brightening that one section of the photo, which is really more highlights. Maybe I need to do both of these. That's getting out of control. But you can see I'm having a huge impact on color, and all I'm really doing is just adjusting the light. So the point is, and this doesn't look exactly great, I've got too much blue in the snow, not enough contrast. My point is on this section here, really on any of these lines, because you have lines over here with these different colors as well, and that is you can drop anchor points in there in order to control how much and what parts of that curve or tone curve line are moving. In other words, you can isolate sections like, hey, I just want to get to the highlights, and so maybe you want to do something like that where you kind of isolate some of those midtones and you don't move or adjust them as much because you've anchored it by putting another point down here to kind of hold the rest of the line in place. Hope that makes sense. Bottom line, super powerful, super flexible. Highly recommend that you take your time, experiment, get to know both the sliders as well as the individual, what I call control points or anchor points, and putting those in different places and moving things around to see how it adjusts, how the adjustments will impact your photo. Okay, so I'm going to go back to just brightening the photo. It's just better if you can see it like that. And what I want to do is show you some of the color maneuvers. Now, there's red, and there's green, and there's blue, RGB, red, green, blue. These are the primary colors in these digital images. Now, red is actually red, and its opposite color is cyan. Green, its opposite color is magenta, and blue's opposite color is yellow. So keep that in mind, because red and cyan, you can adjust colors accordingly. You can adjust in the different zones the colors based on how you move this line. So just as an example, if I take this midtones line here and start to drag it to the left, the midtones are starting to get red. Now, it's impacting the entire photo. I don't really want that, so I might reset that, and maybe I could do some kind of S-curve, Maybe I want to get more reds in the highlights, and you can see I'm getting a little bit more of that kind of reddish pink color in the sky, whereas I've dragged it kind of down in the shadows, so I'm getting a little bit more of that cyan color in the darker areas. So again, lots of power, lots of flexibility, and lots of control. But the key thing to remember is red, the opposite is cyan, green, the opposite is magenta, and blue, the opposite is yellow. So if you wanted the whole image to be more cyan, you could just drag the middle of the tone curve, in this case, down because it's impacting such a wide portion of the photo, and vice versa. If I wanted more red, I could go like that. Same thing's true for green. So green and magenta. So if I go this way, I'm getting more green. Nobody wants green snow. I don't want a green sunrise or sky either. But magenta, that could look pretty cool, especially in the sky. So again, you could do that. The further you pull it, of course, the more impact it's going to have across the entire photo. And again, this might be a thing where you want to isolate certain sections of the photo with some anchor points and just come in and try to apply the appropriate amount of color to the specific areas in the photo. That looks a little bit better, where I've, in the highlights and some of the higher lighter midtones, I've added a little bit of that magenta and really kept it away from the shadow areas. I'm going to reset that. Again, just double click any of these to reset them back to their default position. And then blue is, as I said, blue or yellow. So just as an example, I can drag this. I'm making the whole image a lot more blue. And over here, I'm making the whole image a lot more yellow. You don't want yellow snow. We learned that as a kid, right? Don't eat the yellow snow. I'm sure you've heard that. But maybe I want to do something here. Maybe I want a little bit more yellow. I don't really want yellow in the shadows. Maybe I want a little blue in the shadows and a little bit of different amount of blue in the highlights. Create a little bit different, kind of softer blue look over the photo. The point again is lots of power, lots of control, and every image is different. It's going to depend on your preferences as well as what the light looks like and what kind of color you're working with. But experiment, have fun. You're not going to break anything. And of course, you can always double click to reset and get things back. And of course, you can use these sliders on the individual color tabs as well. So maybe I want a little bit more blue there and here. That's kind of interesting looking. Maybe in the red, maybe I want to do, you know, a little, I don't think I want red there. Maybe I want a little more of that. I don't know. Again, just experiment and have fun. Every photo is different. And let me point out, number one, I don't use curves by itself. Curves to me it's incredibly powerful. As I've shown you, lots of power and control over tones as well as colors, but I never use it by itself. I would almost always pair it with adjustments here in light, where I'd be adjusting contrast, highlights and shadows, maybe exposure. I might, in an image like this, do some things in curves, do some things with contrast, and then I might come down here to landscape and hit it with some golden hour to really kind of pop those warmer tones in the sky, maybe some split toning to do something similar. It just depends. By the way, if you're not familiar with split toning, let me know in a comment down below if you want some videos about that. The point is, it doesn't operate alone for me. If you're an incredible master of curves, which to be clear, I'm not, I use it, I like it, super powerful, I use it sparingly. I don't totally dominate an image with it, even though it does give you a lot of control. I tend to pair it with other things, but it does just give you so much power and control over color and over light, which are obviously, you know, key ingredients in a photo. By the way, one other thing to think about, and that is this red, green, and blue. Red's opposite is cyan, green's opposite is magenta, blue's opposite is yellow. If you forget that, you can always go down here to professional, and under color harmony, there is color balance. And within color balance, you can see cyan and red, magenta green, and yellow blue. So you can adjust those in the shadows or the midtones and the highlights. So you could come in here and just do some similar kind of color moves based on the fact that this also separates these color bands, if you will, based on the tonal values of highlights and midtones and shadows. So either A, use that as a reference if you need to remember what red's opposite, green's opposite, and blue's opposite are, or use it as a complement to adjustments that you may be doing up here in the Develop tab with curves. So that's really it for this one, my friends. I hope that gives you a good kind of starting position or getting started sort of view on what curves is, how you can use it, and why it's so powerful. I absolutely recommend experimenting. Like I said, you're not going to break anything. Just drop some control points. Try S curves on the tonal curve. Try them also on the different color curves. See by moving the highlights or midtones or shadows one way or the other on the different color tabs. Check out, see how that impacts your photo. Start isolating sections with control points and anchoring those so you can try to be specific instead of just hitting the whole photo with red or green or magenta. Try just hitting specific sections of a photo. Practice, experiment, have fun. That's all it is. Hope that gives you some ideas about curves. I'll come back and do some more additional videos around this if you like, but I hope that you found this helpful. If you did, thumbs up, subscribe, all those kind of things. Leave me a comment down below. Hope it helps, my friends. Thanks for watching. I will be back soon. And until then, you guys take care of yourselves, and adios.